Insurance fraud is reasonably easy with a few tips and tricks. There's a few bits you do need to look out for though, and there's quite a lot of cars actually that you have to get, and they're all spread out across the map, and a few of them have their own unique challenges, but we can make our way through that. Okay, we'll head down to the car on the right first of all. Now this one's connected to an explosive barrel and it's got no rear wheels. What we're going to do with this is we're going to quick save before we do it, just in case you mess it up. It will really save you a lot of time. And we're going to cut our way through. Try not to clip the spoiler. If you've seen the other videos that I've done, you kind of get the drill for this now, but try not to clip the spoiler because you'll set it on fire. This time I did it, these cars seem to really want to set on fire, so just get your fire extinguisher ready. If it's not falling off, it might be this bit of glass at the back, but then it will come free. So carefully move them out of the way because sometimes you can clip them with the car. And then with this one, it's probably slow and steady is better. It's a little bit of an Austin Powers mobile without the rear wheels, but drive it up and you can either put it straight into the zone, or I just left them at the edge because it was kind of satisfying to do. Now the next one we're going to look at is the next closest one, and I think it's the exact same car, it's just in a similar situation. So you know the drill with this one. We're going to cut this off at the back and then we're going to drive over. This one seemed to want to set on fire a lot when I was doing it. I think I was getting a little bit careless, but once we cut it away, we're ready to go. We just drive it in, do the exact same thing as before, so either pull it up at the edge or drive it straight in. It doesn't make any difference with this one. We're going to take this little nugget car and we're now going to drive over to this Jeep, or sorry, like a 4x4 pickup thing. This one is another cut it away from the wall, so we're going to want to do that as quickly as we can. And when it is cut away, we just want to carefully let it sit to the side. That one's fallen off quite nicely. Carefully don't drive it through the window. And again, stick it in the zone if you want, or stick it at the edge. The next one we're going to go for is the Lambo on the roof. Again, same drill. We're going to chop this one off. There's just a little bit of an interesting decision on how we get it down that we need to think about. Before we do go over there, it's probably worth taking down, not this door, it's probably worth taking down the wall just opposite, because this is going to be one of our escape routes later on. I'm just going to blow this up with bombs just to get started. It should be enough. You're only going to get one car out of it. It leaves a lot of debris on the floor. It's up to you whether or not you move it now or move it later. I obviously decide that I can't be bothered and clear it up later. So back over to the Lambo. And once again, we're going to follow the exact same pattern. We're going to carefully chop it out. Again, just keep the fire extinguisher handy in case you set things on fire. On this one, you will have to crouch down and get a bit specific with the edge because it is a tight one to do, this one. Now, you've got an option. I'd save it up here, and you can either try and drive it off so it lands on its wheels and you can drive it back, or you can just think, I'm sick of stealing cars, and smash it into the wall, land it on its roof, and then basically do what I've done, which is to destroy the remainder of the car down to its chassis and then walk it back. So this won't affect the mission in any way whatsoever. There's no alarm because the alarm's left at the top. So I'll basically blow it up and then a little bit of a fire, and then just carry this back. Again, it's totally up to you if you want to try and drive it back. It literally makes no difference. It's just a bit ridiculous doing it this way. And I needlessly put it on the Jeep. I guess it just makes my life a bit easier. You don't have to do this. You can just chuck it straight into the zone. I was just messing around when I did this, and I wanted the kind of double unlock when I drive this over. So you don't need to do that. You just chuck it straight in there or drive it straight in. Okay, this is where things get moderately interesting. So this, whatever it is, this muscle car looking thing is a little bit tricky to get. I do my clear up on the way over. That's what was happening there. Now it's obvious we've got to lift this with the crane, and my initial thoughts were, well, let's do that properly. And and you'll see that as I kind of get further with that, I decide that let's not do it properly. I've got some better ideas. So stick these on top because they do get in the way, and you do want to tie them down with planks, probably to the car. I tie them together. You might not want to do that, just tie them straight to the vehicle. And a quick save because you can bodge this up. It's all one-shotable, but it's just really not worth messing it up and having to keep retrying, but it's up to you. So I attach them together there because my initial idea was to hang it from the crane, but you better attach them to the vehicle. I'll make myself my little ramp so I can get back up, and then we're going to carefully reverse our crane up here, and the developers have very kindly left the crane up so you clip the tree and fall into the sea. So tuck that down, and then you're going to turn it around and raise the crane back up and smash it in just enough to get it near to the car. And the first thing you'll realise is you can't reach the car, so we've got to drag the car over first of all using some of these metal girders that are up here, and then we'll get it into position. So a little bit of tidying up to do. You probably want to clear the railing off the right hand side too, which I do forget at this point. So totally get rid of them, but keep one. And you're going to keep one edge close to that, and then here you can see where I needed to have cleared this railing but didn't. And we're going to use this now with the crane just to tug the vehicle over and get it into position ready for us to attach it. And you can see here I have a nightmare and decide to attach it to the floor, not the railing, so be careful with that. And the wooden plank you've used to connect it should move it over, get rid of it. Now we're going to position our crane just above, and instead of actually using the crane attachment, I bang a quick save on here and have a few goes at coming up with the best solution. And it turns out the best solution is to not use the crane, not use their attachments, but to plank it in a specific way. So you want to get rid of this railing because it's going to cause problems, as I found out. You want to attach the car to the like metal girder thing that's underneath it, not to the crane ropes or the crane itself. The car to the bottom, and there's no harm in putting a whole bunch, and then connect the car to the crane. Don't use the hanging ropes because it will cause a problem. You could even cut those hanging ropes off. In fact, if I did it again, I'd do that. And then lift it up and you should be good to go. The hanging ropes cause me a bit of an issue here because they fall down. Now this bit's pretty simple. You're going to drive it all the way back over to the start point. Careful of the gate opening, and this tree right on the outside there, it seems kind of tricky to clip, so it depends on how really sweaty you want to be. You could blow a whole bunch of that up and make it nice and clear. Save a bit of effort driving around the truck. We blow up this wall. You will need to clear the debris as well, just to make sure that you get through and it's not going to cause you any problems. Now I clip the wall here and break my crane because I didn't prepare it properly. It's not actually a problem for me because I can drive it through and it's still attached by the cables, but please bear that in mind. Also, do not drop this into the zone. If you drop it into the zone, you might want to save just before. It will trigger the alarm because the car will be gone and the connection will be broken. So this one can't go into the zone just yet. Now on to the next car. I swear this mission never seems to end. This one again, we have to do something slightly different, not too difficult though overall. We're going to head all the way to the other end of the map. And we are going to, you've guessed it, carefully cut this Jeep out. All you have to do is to cut around this uncuttable metal rail on the top, so just on both sides. It should just fall free. It can be a bit fiddly to get out, but it shouldn't be the end of the world. And drop it to the floor. We have to blow this wall up. It's up to you whether or not you do this before you free the Jeep, because you'll see it blows the cable and does sometimes trigger the alarm, but it shouldn't be too bad. And we got ourselves a nice little ramp hole, should I say. With the Jeep, it's totally up to you whether or not you decide to drive it out again and just risk it. I would recommend saving it just before you drive out and just make sure it lands on its wheels, because it's annoying having to reduce it to its chassis and carry it all over. But again, it can be solved if you do flip it. Don't totally panic. And we're going to drive it all the way around to our now massive collection of cars and cranes and metal girders with cars attached to them. At this point we can drive all the cars in if you've done what I've done. As I say, doesn't really matter, you can do it straight away. I was just being a bit weird when I did it. Get this one in and don't put the crane in. Now the final one will trigger an alarm. There's nothing we can do about this alarm. We have to trigger it, but it's like literally 20 foot away from the thing, so we can just, well, not literally, but it's really close. So again, a bit more tidying up. I'm not sure where all the debris came from, so I swore I already tidied it up. And we shoot off the ceiling. Definitely bang a quick save on this one. Jump in, which triggers the alarm. Be careful the rope doesn't pull you into the wall like it did in me my first go. Straight into there, and then however you've arranged this, either drag it, tow it, throw it in, and then just get into the truck. And we're good. Yeah, that's a super long video. Probably it looks a lot more work than it actually is in the end, because you finish with 50 seconds remaining. But I hope that helps, because I don't think you can do that any other way without cutting the alarms off, if I'm honest.